It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Thursday, the 29th of September. I'm Michael Groff. We continue with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain. An isolated storm can't be completely ruled out here across the southern deserts today. And temperatures to remain above average all the way through the weekend and much of next week, with conditions gradually drying out over time. And the question on everyone's mind, is it just about time to say goodbye to those 100-degree days for the year 2022? Well, maybe not so fast just yet. And of course, we'll take a look at the tropics, see what's going on with the latest with Tropical Storm Ian, about to become Hurricane Ian once again. So yeah, a lot going on. Let's dive in here. First, we'll look at the almanac from yesterday. 102 degrees was the afternoon high. 82, another record warm low temperature for the date. The previous record, 81 degrees. Normal high, yeah, you can see it's dropping now, 96 degrees. Normal low, 74. And as we take a look outside right now here, just after 9 a.m., we've got partly cloudy sky, 82 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point at 55, relative humidity 40%. The winds are light. The barometer is steady. The upper air look across the nation. High pressure still here across the southwest. There is an upper low over the Pacific Northwest. That's going to slow down and dig a little bit to the southeast and set up across northern Idaho and southern Idaho and northern Utah over the next couple of days. And that should turn the flow aloft here squarely out of the west and really start to dry us out. Meanwhile, there you see Ian now emerging off the east coast of Florida, and that will head northward toward the coast of the Carolinas. And still tons of rain, flooding, and the devastation left in the wake of Ian. And that is still going to be a major headache weather-wise for the next several days. The watch warning map fairly quiet across much of the nation. Of course, all the action across the southeast. Still have tropical storm warnings ongoing across Florida. A number of flash flood warnings, flash flood emergencies for central Florida. There have been some spots that have received anywhere from 12 to 18 inches of rain. I saw, as of a couple of hours ago, Orlando was now over 13 inches of rain, Edgewater over 15 inches. Some spots, rain gauges, we don't have all the data collected yet. Clayton on our comments was asking about Lakeland, Florida yesterday, and we don't have data from Lakeland, but radar estimates 10 to 12 inches there. And then obviously where the storm surge was when landfall occurred yesterday, unfortunately, there are hundreds of people missing, unaccounted for across southwest Florida from yesterday, from the storm surge and then the subsequent flooding across central Florida. And that is just terrible news. And unfortunately, it continues. Now we have hurricane warnings posted for the coast of South Carolina. All right, convective outlook for today. Still along the immediate coast of Florida, there could be an isolated tornado, although as this system pulls away, I think that risk will be ending. But it will be shifting northward over the next 24 hours to the Carolinas, especially South Carolina. A marginal risk of severe storms north of the state today across the Great Salt Lake and up toward Yellowstone and parts of western Montana. Could be an isolated storm around parts of our state today as well. Latest on the tropics, we have a new tropical depression out there in the Atlantic, but that, as we say, ain't going nowhere, ain't doing nothing. We don't have to worry about that. It will drift harmlessly to the north and west. It probably doesn't even develop any further than that. And then we've got Ian, Tropical Storm Ian, now moving off the east coast of Florida and beginning to re-strengthen as it does. Top winds are now back up to 70 miles per hour, which is almost grounds to become a Category 1 hurricane once again. And you can see that northward motion toward the coast of the Carolinas. Still tropical storm force winds across a good portion of central and north Florida, basically from Tampa to Orlando, Melbourne, all the way up to Jacksonville, much of southern southeast Georgia in that tropical storm force wind field, and that's moving northward and going to strengthen at least over the next 24 hours. Landfall expected tomorrow, mid to late morning in the coast of South Carolina. All right. Precipitation outlook for us, valid through Thursday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, yeah, probably nothing, and still could see some rain across the eastern half of the state over the higher terrain and along our southern border. Amounts anywhere from 1/10 to maybe as much as 1/2 of an inch. We have seen some isolated, very heavy storms. Now, could we still have an isolated storm here across south central Arizona today? Yes, much like we saw yesterday, just southwest of Studio B, where I'm broadcasting from right now here in Avondale, about 10, 15 miles southwest of me yesterday, there was a storm. That thing was producing lightning, just rumbling for 45 to 60 minutes straight, but did not come this way. It was just stationary, probably produced a ton of rain to the southwest of me here. So, yeah, we could see that again today, but widespread showers and storms not expected. All right, let's get into the details of what's going on right now. To do that, we'll explore the models, have a look. This is the GFS. It's the 06Z run valid 2 o'clock this afternoon. High pressure still out here across the west. There's that upper low over the Pacific Northwest and Ian moving off of the Florida East Coast and strengthening a bit. So what it means for us down at the surface today, clouds around this morning, partly cloudy this afternoon, widely scattered storms over the higher terrain and scattered storms for far southern Arizona along the border. Here in the south central deserts of Maricopa, Pinal County, an isolated storm not out of the question, but we've kept it out of the forecast officially. High temperatures today, somewhere in the mid to upper 90s. Tonight, an isolated evening storm, otherwise partly cloudy, overnight lows in the 70s to low 80s. And then tomorrow, isolated storms over the higher terrain. Here we are sunny. We are fairly dry. High temperatures mid to upper 90s. Over the weekend, we've got this area of low pressure across southern Idaho, northern Utah. And what it's doing is it's turning the winds aloft out of the west, and that is a drier wind for us. Now, still with the remaining moisture across northern Arizona, isolated storms will still be possible, especially over the White Mountains, the eastern rim country. But for us, sunny sky, dry conditions, highs mid to upper 90s. Same thing on Sunday, same thing on Monday. On Tuesday, curiously enough, as this low dives southward out of the north of us and now through the central and southern Rockies, the GFS seems to be insistent that it will produce enough moisture here for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across southern Arizona, maybe even here in Phoenix. That seems like a very far-fetched scenario, not buying that. And so we're just going to keep the forecast dry, maybe introduce a few clouds here, high temperatures still in the mid to upper 90s. And then Wednesday, yeah, we're still mostly dry. Again, an isolated storm over the higher terrain. High temperatures should be still in the mid 90s. All right, a week from today, this is Thursday, the 6th of October. And yeah, a major ridge, a very high, we have this high latitude blocking pattern that's developing. Look at that ridge way up there into Western Canada, up into the Yukon, the Northwest Territories. I mean, positive height anomalies all the way through the Gulf of Alaska. So maybe some shortwave energy could undercut that, but that just results in a fairly dry weather regime for us and temperatures just slightly above average, still in the mid 90s or so. Then as we look out 10 days, this is Saturday the 8th, and really things don't change much. Again, some shortwave energy may undercut that big ridge, but we still look to stay dry and high temperatures remaining above average. All right. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 13th of October, coming off of the European ensemble. Doesn't look all that promising. The prospect of significant precipitation extremely low during this period. Now, there are signs that the overall weather pattern across North America may start to change as we go toward mid-October. But what that means for us in terms of precipitation chances remains to be seen, although cooler weather could be way out there beyond about 2 weeks. Speaking of temperatures, off of the national blend of models, here's what you're not seeing on this graphic. No 100-degree days, but that doesn't mean we are done with them, and that doesn't mean that during this period we won't see 1 or 2 days or so with highs at the century mark, or maybe even 101, 102. Still possible. We're still in the upper 90s. Obviously, as you well know, we can still have 100-degree days into October. But I would say they are going to become fewer and farther between. I think we're down into the single digits. I told Clayton on the comments yesterday, we are probably in the low single digits for the number of 100-degree days left this year. Let's hope. All right. And that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. If you enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. Music fans, check it out. Available 24/7, 365. My streaming station, it is always there for you. It is called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with that. We is myself and the Asian sensation, the one and only Michelle, involved in the programming and operation of that station. So do check it out. I leave a link down there in the description. So, You will enjoy that. I assure you. Unless you don't. All right. Thank you so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. You guys be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Thursday.